Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes, Alex BlackBelt Lima in studio with me here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Self-defense, martial arts, overall health and nutrition, and also some of our current takes, current events, things happening out there. Alex, welcome back, man.
What's up, man? Always good to be here.
Thanks for joining and looking forward to diving deep in some of this stuff. And I want to jump right into a couple of these different clips with our time that we have. I want to start with this AI, this world of artificial intelligence and how that relates into our modern day, what we're looking at. Because there's a clip I was wanting to play from War Room where they're talking about how these elites believe that technology is going to be the salvation of the human race versus Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, being that technology. So they're leaning so much on technology, and then you have, of course, now wearables have been around for a while, but people are actually getting chips inserted. So I think this is something that people are kind of, they're underestimating the effects of AI and technology to elevate Antichrist.
But one thing you cannot deny is that the people at the top, you can hear it in the rhetoric out of the World Economic Forum, out of Silicon Valley, out of academia, and increasingly out of our political sector. These people believe that technology will be the salvation of the human race. These people are, to put it in blunt terms, elevating an antichrist. If anti in its original Greek means to put in place of as much as against, they are elevating technology in place of Christ. That is the source of your healing. That is the source of your meaning. That is the source of your salvation. That is filling the gap where traditional religion has receded. That is the ideology that we need to confront. And I do not believe this is insurmountable. I do believe that a core of humanity will remain no matter what. It's not that it's hopeless, but this is a major cultural shift, and it's one that we need to be braced for.
And I think it's a slippery slope because it starts with, the person's paralyzed. This is going to help them walk again. Of course, most people would say, wow, that's great. That's awesome. That's amazing. And it's a very small percentage of people that would be the case. And then it goes into the banking of like, oh, let's just put a chip right here in your hand. And that way you can just swipe your hand. And now you got your banking digital chips right there doing away with cash. But this is to me, it's a real scary, slippery slope, Alex.
Yeah, it's I think about this quite often, actually. It's pretty astounding to me how little control people want over their life, and they just want these other sources and things to make decisions and do things for them. Yeah. Just to kind of play the other side of this, if I was an evil crime warlord, right, tyrannical type government dictator or whatever, it would be incredibly beneficial to me to cut the fat, trim the fat. Get rid of the worthless humans. I don't need the human being. What I need is productivity, right? I need things to be accomplished and done. Yeah. And people get tired. Machines don't. So if I can just put things in, invest everything into having computers and as much as possible, with the least amount of human interaction and and hands-on involvement that I can have in any given scenario to keep me at the top, and then I'll do that because I don't have to deal with people. Yeah, I don't have to deal with laziness or insubordination or people rallying against me. Yeah, I'll just have machines doing what I want 24/7.
Yeah, because they look at people as ultimately the output of their carbon. Yeah. Oh, they're eating food, they're eating meat, and then they're outputting carbon, and they're breathing in the air. There are oxygen. So these Silicon Valley elites, these these types of people, and I think also it gets into the fact that at some point you may have armies that are literally machines, robots, AI.
They're already doing a lot of that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And it all comes down to the morality programmed into those beings or those machines.
Well, there's no morality. So the point I was trying to get to with that is that it has very little to do with salvation. It has more to do with control, and power. You cannot put morality. The morality is that the person hitting the button and flipping the switches. Exactly. So if that person is tyrannical, then the machines will be used in a tyrannical manner.
Yeah, the programmer.
Exactly.
Yeah, who's programming it? Yeah, that's interesting. And then let's bring it back to some real world stuff here. Tucker Carlson, in my opinion, he's one of the world's most in tune with not only the voters but the politicians and the trends of the day. And he was on a podcast recently that I pulled up here. I want to play this clip and then get your response on this, Alex.
If they protested him, they called him names.
Talking about Trump,
he won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him. I mean, they're putting him on trial in March of next year in the J6 case, which basically consists of trying to send him to prison for the rest of his life for complaining about the last election. That's literally what it is. Again, if this were happening in Moldova, the State Department would issue an all-hands-on-deck order to let the world know this is not a legitimate government. And yet our government is doing it. It's like it's hard to overstate how bad this is. And I don't know where it's going, but there's a collision that's clearly imminent. And by the way, the president is senile in a way that's impossible to deny. Biden's not running the government, so like, I don't know, man. I've never been this worried.
So, I mean, it's some real stuff, isn't it? I mean, we joke about keeping it light here, right? I mean, that's some real stuff right here, man. That's some real stuff.
Definitely. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
They've killed people for less.
Exactly.
Anything that they've seen as any kind of threat to their infrastructure and dominance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump is the greatest threat to their infrastructure and dominance.
Exactly.
So, he's an incredibly brave man. That's one thing
really
I think he doesn't get enough credit for, because myself, I'm pretty hard-headed, and I don't know if I could just take being attacked every single day by every possible outlet, put in jail in this indictment and all this stuff. I mean, that is just absolutely crazy, and the man keeps going and pressing forward.
Yeah.
And not only because the will to want to win, because obviously he's very competitive and wants to win at things.
Exactly.
But he also wants to be like, no, this is wrong what these people are doing, and they need to, it's crazy. I was thinking about this the other day. I'll just wrap this real quick. The way that the country is being treated right now, the United States, it's like a going out of business sale. You know what I'm saying? It's like completely like, oh, well, the business is going to go down anyway, so let's go ahead and just do whatever.
Selling the border wall.
You know what I'm saying? It's like this is crazy the way that America is being treated, man. So the people that are in power right now, they do not have your best interests in mind. And people need to realize that, and we need to take the steps towards getting America's best interests back in alignment. Yeah,
absolutely, Alex. And what we talked about before too, what I had mentioned with Bernie Jocks is the issue of when you have these magazines and papers coming out saying, oh, well, do we really need to vote? We vote too much. They're putting out these headlines. That's a prelude of things to come. Yeah. Because then you have the legal scholar, like they did with Trump, says, oh, we got Trump. We're going to try to get Trump off the ballot in New Hampshire. Why are they going after this one man? Oh, because he knows what's going on this time. When he gets his second term, if he gets his second term, and I pray to God he does, there's going to be some really interesting developments, but who knows where it's going to go? All we can do, again, going back to that quote from Pastor Q, concern leads to prayer, but worry leads to fear, right? Absolutely. And that's what these people are stoking, division and fear, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the oldest, tale as old as time. It's one of the oldest tactics, propaganda and fear-mongering to control your agenda. Yeah. The more I can make... Most people do not have that natural fight inside of them. There are some that do. But most people don't, so they seek comfort. So that when they're afraid and they're just looking for an answer, something that looks good, when you tell them, hey, do this, vote for this, is going to make everything better, they go, oh, okay, well then we'll do it. Anything to just make this stop. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. It really is. And, we often joke, hey, look, I'm a full-time realtor. This is what I do for my business. I sell homes, real estate businesses. We sell land, and that's how we derive our income. I never thought 10 years ago when I start this show that I'd be diving deep into these types of topics. And same with you, right? You're a dad, husband. You're earning an income for your family. You're doing trainings and things of that nature, and competing maybe as well again. But yeah, I mean, but as Americans, we feel like we need to stand up for this.
Well, you and I have, we obviously agree on a lot of things, and like-minded in a lot of things. But we one thing is definitely we both have a strong moral compass. I mean,
right.
wrong is wrong.
Exactly.
Wrong is wrong, man. And I don't understand why people don't see this. Going back to the whole, like, they're trying to get rid of voting. That is absolutely, first off, voting right now is not utilized as it should be.
Yep.
These people do what they want anyways, even when we vote.
Yep.
But I think we don't vote enough. Like, going back to all the money being sent to
Good
Ukraine
point.
and stuff and everything.
Good
That
point.
is absolute crap. If you would have brought that to a vote for the American people,
Yep.
I find it hard to believe that most of the people say, yeah, go ahead, send billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine and weapons and stuff.
Majority of people, I think, would say no.
100%. Americans would have voted to put that money towards fighting, against child trafficking and the problems that we have here in-house. Everything here in-house. We need to worry about our house.
Homelessness, vets, crime.
Exactly.
Yeah, in our own house. Exactly. Yeah, man. So Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts, how can people connect with you there?
Yeah, at BlackBelt_fitness on Instagram. You can also call 813-426-1588, and then you can always see me here on the Consumer Quarterback Show.
ConsumerQB.com. That's right. You can see it all on ConsumerQB.com, and we really hope this message resonates with folks, and you like and share this. Share this information, share this message, support the show, supporting like-minded companies, individuals on the Consumer Quarterback Show, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, all online at ConsumerQB.com. You can find links there, ConsumerQB.com. Final word back to you, brother.
Yeah, man, just, to kind of bring it back to a more positive note, pray, pray and think positive and find light. Because, listen, everything's coming to a head. It's going to change. Yeah. Everything passes. Everything will change. And we're not going to have to deal with this forever.
That's
it will
right.
change.
Tough times don't last. Tough people do.
Right.
And we want you to please go out there, consider committing a random act of kindness, do something kind for one another, be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you stop by and check us out at ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback.